White House slumber parties, Hollywood internships, and daily chores? Here's what you didn't know about Sasha and Malia Obama. In January 2009, just after he was sworn in as America's 44th president, Barack Obama was asked by Parade to pen a letter to his kids. In it, he touched on the sacrifices he had to make as a father in order to pursue his political ambitions, writing, "I know how much I've missed these past 2 years. I soon found that the greatest joy in my life was the joy I saw in yours. And I realized that my own life wouldn't count for much unless I was able to ensure that you had every opportunity for happiness and fulfillment in yours. In the end, girls, that's why I ran for president, because of what I want for you and for every child in this nation." Even so, it wasn't an easy decision. In 2017, Barack told ABC News that he and Michelle Obama worried about being able to keep their daughters grounded under such unusual circumstances. Luckily, their fears proved to be unfounded, as Malia and Sasha Obama rose to the challenge. Barack said,
"They've handled it with grace, and I give Michelle most of the credit for how well they've done."
There's nothing average about growing up in the White House, but Barack and Michelle Obama actively strove to ensure their daughters had as average a childhood as possible. In 2008, prior to Barack's first presidential win, the couple told People that their children weren't spoiled simply because of their dad's high-profile career. For one, both girls had chores, from setting the table to cleaning their playroom. In exchange, they would sometimes get $1, but even that wasn't guaranteed. Speaking of Malia, Barack said, "Originally, we were giving her $1 a week, as long as she did all her chores. It turns out that she's been doing her chores even without prompting from the allowance, which makes me feel guilty." Another surprising revelation was that the Obamas didn't give their kids birthday gifts. Barack went on, "We spent hundreds of dollars on a birthday party and movie tickets and pizza and popcorn. We want to teach some limits to them, and their friends bring over presents." Both Sasha Obama and her older sis also learned about good work ethic early on. In 2016, a 15-year-old Sasha got a summer job at Nancy's, a seafood restaurant on Martha's Vineyard. TMZ learned she was bussing tables and manning the register for 4 hours a day and earning $12 to $15 per hour, like everyone else. Meanwhile, when Malia was 15, back in 2014, she interned as a production assistant on Halle Berry's CBS sci-fi series, Extant. If Malia and Sasha thought moving to the White House meant getting waited on hand and foot, they were in for a rude awakening. Michelle and Barack made sure their daughters kept a strict schedule that included an 8 o'clock sharp bedtime and an ordinary routine of daily chores. Indeed, the girls were still expected to perform tasks like make their own beds, clean up after their dog, and get themselves ready in the mornings for school. As Michelle explained to ABC News, "That was the first thing I said to some of the staff when I did my visit. Don't make their beds. Make mine. Skip the kids. They have to learn these things."
When we're out of here in a few years, they've got to be able to function as normal people.
It's unclear whether the Obama sisters' allowance for doing chores in the White House remained as admittedly slim as the $1 a week they'd earned in those pre-presidential days. But in 2010, Barack opened up to Good Morning America about using their allowance as a means for Malia and Sasha to learn about managing their finances, saying, "They're starting to get old enough where they may be able to earn some money babysitting. They've got their own savings accounts. And if they don't stay on top of their household duties," Michelle told Yahoo, "they don't get their allowance until they can prove that they've done their chores for the week."
We keep them busy.
Their allowances might have been scant, but the Obama sisters did get a very nice thank you gift from their parents after their dad won his bid for the White House: a Portuguese water dog named Bo Diddley. The adorable animal was a gift from Senator Ted Kennedy and fit the family's criteria for a desired breed. Namely, he was a hypoallergenic dog, which was of chief importance because of Malia's allergies. Bo was named by the young girls, drawing inspiration from a friend with a cat named Bo, as well as Michelle's father, who was nicknamed Diddley. The former first family added a second dog, Sunny, in 2013 to help fill a void left by Malia and Sasha growing up and not having as much time for Bo. As Barack Obama told CNN, Bo was getting lonely because the 2 other puppies are grown up, and they still have some responsibilities for him, but they're not always around between school, sports practice, all that stuff. And so Bo was getting a little down in the dumps inside the house. Sadly, Bo died of cancer in 2021. Barack tweeted about the dog's death, writing, "Today our family lost a true friend and loyal companion. For more than a decade, Bo was a constant, gentle presence in our lives. Happy to see us on our good days, our bad days, and every day in between." Turning 16 is often seen as a big deal, and when it came time to celebrate Malia and Sasha's milestone birthdays, their parents went all out. Malia, who was 10 when her dad became president, was the first to turn 16 back in 2014. To celebrate, she took a birthday trip to Disneyland, where she was treated to VIP access to several rides. After that, Michelle and Barack threw her a big bash, and to top it all off, she also got a car.
Ladies and gentlemen in DC, watch out.
Sasha, who was 7 when the family moved into the White House, was the next to celebrate in 2017. She rang in her sweet 16 with a bang at a lavish party attended by friends, as well as her proud parents. Education has always been important in the Obama household, and both Malia and Sasha have excelled at their studies. After finishing high school in DC, Malia decided to attend Harvard University and major in visual and environmental studies. Her dad once described her as a capable, conscientious student, and she proved this to be true in college. Upon graduating in 2021, the Faculty of Arts and Sciences awarded her the Thomas Temple Hoops Prize for excellent undergraduate work and excellence in the art of teaching. As for Sasha, she began her college studies at the University of Michigan, but decided to transfer to the University of Southern California in 2022. She graduated the following year with a degree in sociology, and it seems she's just as serious about academia as her big sister. While we don't know of any prizes she may have received, Sasha actually made headlines in 2017 when she missed her dad's farewell speech in Chicago, Illinois, because school came first. "Where is Sasha Obama?" asked USA Today as fans speculated if she was forbidden from going out on a school night. Turns out they were right. A senior official later told CNN that Sasha missed the speech because she had a science exam the following morning, and that was much more important. During a 2017 interview with former President Barack Obama on Netflix's My Next Guest Needs No Introduction with David Letterman, the venerable late-night host recounted a never-before-told story about a run-in he'd had with Malia Obama when the two briefly crossed paths at a function at the White House. To introduce himself to the former first daughter, he said, "My name is Dave Letterman, and I'm very happy to be here at the party. And thank you for inviting me to the party."
And she says, "Yeah, you look like a guy who really knows how to party."
For his part, the comic told Barack that he absolutely loved the witty dig. The anecdote also got a huge laugh from the ex-POTUS.
She's a riot.
Yeah.
She is funny.
By the time an 18-year-old Malia and 15-year-old Sasha left the White House in January 2017, they'd experienced elite international travel, interactions with some of Hollywood's heaviest hitters, and a rare inside look at the inner workings of the U.S. government at its highest level. But when it came time to say goodbye to Pennsylvania Avenue, they did it in the most low-key and relatable way possible, by having a sleepover with friends. Speaking with Today, Michelle Obama revealed that these former first kids simply wanted pizza and nuggets for the 8 girlfriends they invited over on the family's last night in the White House. Asked whether leaving was difficult for the Obama sisters, Michelle said, "So that moment of transition right before the doors opened and we welcomed in the new family, our kids were leaving out the back door in tears, saying goodbye to people." In her first interview since leaving the White House, Michelle Obama shed some light on the family's new digs. And it turns out Sasha was the big winner in the situation. Speaking with Ellen DeGeneres, Michelle said, "Sasha actually killed in this house. She's got this 2-room suite. It's all decked out. She's got like a living room area and a bedroom, and she designed it." As for how Malia Obama made out, Michelle told Ellen, "She got a room up in the attic somewhere. She's away at college. You don't waste rooms on college kids." Most parents can attest to the tremendous amount of emotion that springs up when it's time to drop their children off at college. And the former president and first lady had just as tough a time as anyone else. Following her gap year, Malia enrolled at Harvard University in August 2017. As previously mentioned, when her parents dutifully dropped her off at the prestigious university, Barack reportedly had a tough time keeping his composure, telling the crowd at a sports event, "For those of us who have daughters, it just happens fast. I dropped off Malia at college, and I was saying to Joe and Jill Biden that it was a little bit like open-heart surgery. I was proud that I did not cry in front of her. But on the way back, Secret Service was off, looking straight ahead, pretending they weren't hearing me. It was rough." For a man who managed to lead the free world through many tough trials, it sounds like it's the home front that always mattered most to him. 2 years later, Michelle Obama opened up to People about getting Sasha settled in her then unannounced college dorm room. Noting that it was understandably a little emotional and that, quote, "the tough part is missing our girls," the proud mom noted, "We wanted to make it feel as normal as possible, given our family's circumstances." According to Barack Obama, the election of Donald Trump to succeed their dad in the Oval Office was a bummer to his daughters because they believed in the messages of support he and Michelle had offered on behalf of Hillary Clinton during the campaign. Obama told USA Today they were disappointed. They paid attention to what their mom said during the campaign and believed it, because it's consistent with what we've tried to teach them in our household, what I've tried to model as a father with their mom, and what we've asked them to expect from future boyfriends or spouses. He added that he and Michelle have tried to foster resilience in their daughters, saying, "They have not assumed that because their side didn't win or because some of the values that they care about don't seem as if they were vindicated, that automatically America has somehow rejected them or rejected their values." All that said, don't be too surprised if Malia and Sasha choose not to follow in their father's footsteps into politics. In 2021, the man himself revealed on The Late Late Show that his daughters preferred to express their views and perform their acts of public service not through holding office, but rather via activism and attending protests.
I think they are probably going to find other ways to serve rather than run for office themselves.
Malia and Sasha are veritable music lovers, and that should come as no surprise given their dad's penchant for crafting headline-making playlists. As it turns out, though, it's Barack Obama's daughters who inspire his taste. The former president told Snapchat in 2020 that they play a big role in his song selection, saying, "I will confess that I do consult with Malia and Sasha throughout the year. I'm constantly listening to their music, sometimes by request, and sometimes just because that's what's blaring in our house." He also revealed that of the two sisters, Sasha is more into indie finds and even has a private playlist on SoundCloud that he's not allowed to listen to. One artist they'll always agree on, though, is Drake. In a 2020 Complex interview, Barack praised his talent and was all for the rapper playing him in a biopic. He said in the interview, "Drake has my household stamp of approval. I suspect Malia and Sasha would be just fine with it." Indeed, in August 2023, the sisters were spotted arriving at Drake's concert after-party at the Bird Streets Club in Los Angeles, and reportedly didn't leave until 4 a.m., according to Page 6. Barack Obama has spoken openly about his struggle to quit smoking. During a 2009 press conference, he admitted, "Have I fallen off the wagon sometimes? Yes." That being said, he explained he never smoked in the house or in front of his kids, and it wasn't a daily occurrence. However, stress has understandably been a major trigger for the former president. And as he revealed in his 2020 memoir, A Promised Land, he could smoke as many as 7 cigarettes per day when things got hectic. That number went up to 10 with the pressures of being president, according to CNN. In the end, Barack decided to quit entirely because he couldn't stand the fact that Malia frowned when she smelled a cigarette on his breath. Perhaps ironically, Malia herself has since taken up the habit, despite dissuading her dad and once wearing a DIY shirt that read, "Smoking Kills." Page 6 spotted Malia smoking a cigarette outside a convenience store in Los Angeles in October 2023, and she received plenty of flack online with folks claiming she was a hypocrite. Just weeks prior, Page 6 also photographed Sasha smoking a cigarette while leaving a Labor Day party in Los Angeles. Malia is serious about writing in Hollywood, and she was okay with starting at the bottom. In 2014, she landed her first gig, working as a production assistant on Halle Berry's Extant, as previously mentioned. According to TMZ, Malia ran coffee errands and helped the crew stop people from walking into shots. In an interview with Andy Cohen, Berry praised her with some very kind words.
She was fantastic. She was amazing. She is such a smart, beautiful young woman.
After landing a summer internship under Lena Dunham on the set of Girls in 2015, she worked in the New York office of the Weinstein Co. 2 years later, where she was tasked with reading scripts and choosing which ones were worth showing to execs. The former first daughter's first major opportunity came from Donald Glover, who put her in the writer's room for his Amazon thriller series Swarm. As he told Vanity Fair in 2022, "I feel like she's just somebody who's gonna have really good things coming soon." He was impressed by Malia's work ethic and her writing, as was series co-creator Janine Neighbors. So much so, they let her pen an entire episode titled Girl, Bye. Neighbors told Entertainment Tonight, "It is probably one of the wildest episodes. Some of her pitches were wild as hell, and they were just so good and so funny. She's an incredible writer." Glover also decided to mentor Malia and produce her debut short film. Not that he'd let her off easy. As he told GQ, he made it clear, You're Obama's daughter, so if you make a bad film, it will follow you around. It seems Malia and Sasha Obama do not like being apart for too long. When Malia moved to Los Angeles in 2021 to pursue a career in Hollywood, Sasha actually chose to transfer schools in order to be closer to her big sis. Originally enrolled at the University of Michigan, she switched to the University of Southern California in 2022, and the pair soon got a shared apartment in Brentwood, California, close to the USC campus. Michelle Obama told Today in 2022 that the fact that they decided to live together was a pleasant surprise, saying, "The thing I love the most is that those two girls are each other's best friends. There was a period of time when they couldn't stand each other, and I said, you wait. You are gonna wake up one day and you are gonna look over at that other person and you're gonna know that you two share something very unique, especially given what they've been through." The former First Lady also offered some insight into what life is like in Casa Obama. She recalled visiting Malia and Sasha with Barack Obama and being invited over for drinks before dinner, saying,
"The martinis were a little weak." It was
what really amused them, though, was the Obama sisters asking them to use coasters.
And I'm like, "You never used a coaster at my house."